What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 7th episode of the Mountains of Madness podcast. As always, I am your host, Darren. Joining me today, we have Ben.
Hello.
Carl.
Hello.
Shikozy.
What's up?
Gary.
Hello.
And for the first time in an audible fashion, we have Killian.
What up?
Back from the beautiful Brazil. You meant to comment on the fact that you've come back from Brazil.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, yeah. It's really fucking cold here. Holy shit, it's so cold.
So, for anyone that actually regularly listens to this podcast, other than our moms, you've probably been... That's a joke because we're Mountains of Madness, which is moms. You've probably been wondering where we've been for the past 4 weeks. Does anyone want to explain our absence, or should I just run with that?
I think because it was mainly driven by your actions, you should explain where we've been.
Okay.
Not said as a criticism. I'm just
So the first
It kind of sounded like one.
So we recorded a 7th episode 4 weeks ago, right? And I think that was probably our best episode.
Not to
At
rub
least
salt in the wound.
It was the one that I was most satisfied with. And you're saying that it was mostly driven by my actions. I was not responsible for that episode then mysteriously being lost or corrupted or damaged or deleted or something.
That was Shikozy's fault.
That's fair, actually. That is fair.
Wait, hold up, what?
Yeah, it was your fault. You were
definitely Shikozy's
mysteriously
fault.
absent.
I know. I feel like Logue had a hand to play in this.
I blame Logue for fucking Hitler invading Poland. So yeah,
Yep.
let's blame Logue.
See?
I thought you were going to say you blamed him for Hitler invading Russia, which was his downfall. I was like, are we learning something we all didn't know about Carl right now?
That too.
And apparently something we didn't know about Logue.
It's like you go back in time and you look at all these old photographs and just Logue is like consistent throughout time.
Logue was actually Goebbels.
With his little
Well,
scout's napkin on. I know it's not a napkin, I just can't remember the word it's actually called.
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
His little neckerchief. There we go. It's a neckerchief. His little neckerchief.
Scouts. Yeah, I get you.
Pashmina Afghan.
What?
Come
Probably
on,
not as
what?
glamorous as that.
Got a nautical theme, Pashmina Afghan. So that's how I learned what those things were. Okay, anyway, yeah, so that episode was lost mysteriously. It was a great episode as well. We talked about 4K and Xbox One X and like classic movies that none of us had seen. We learned some terrible things about each other regarding what movies we haven't seen. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
But
we
anyway.
gave everybody the
So that's some of it.
lottery numbers for that week as well, so sorry you missed out on that.
And then I went to America for a week, but unfortunately I left during recording times and then got back after recording times. So we missed 2 weekends there. And apparently no one can take my place on this podcast. I'm the only irreplaceable member, which is nice to find out, but in a bad way, I guess.
Yeah, you're irreplaceable.
And then I think we had another week as well where only Gary and Shikozy and I showed up for the podcast and nobody else did. So
I was working, yeah.
So then we had this great idea and we were like, let's like record ourselves playing PUBG. And we were like, this is great. I was like, this is going to be really fun. 3 of us playing PUBG. And then we all launched and started recording it. But because we were all running recording software, the performance of the game like declined so much that we just couldn't play. I played an entire game at like 30 frames, not even 30 frames, like less than 30 frames.
Yeah, it was really
I was
bad.
like, it's like, I'm fine, guys. I'm fine. Don't even talk. I'm fine. And then, yeah, it was awful. So that was a failed experiment. And
Although
now
when
we're
we
here.
stopped recording, there were some pretty fun games.
Yeah, it's typical, isn't it? It's like, well, when I stopped recording, everything went really well and we were fantastic, but there's no evidence of that. So yeah, and then that leads us to being 4 weeks past creating an episode. So welcome back, everybody.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
This
I-
is how
I
we're
didn't-
splicing Carrie Glitter.
No, don't do that. No one likes a splice of Gary Glitter. Nobody.
Splash.
No one likes a splash of Gary Glitter.
A slight, a pinch, just a pinch.
Just a dash.
Something to flavour it, you know?
Just a glug.
We also heard Ben throw in there that he was quote unquote working, if you can call it working, during one of
It
the
was working,
podcasts.
alright.
And I have a feeling you want to talk about it, Ben. So
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, why not?
Go for it.
I'll just throw it in there. So I got a part in a feature film, which was nice. It's only a really small local project, but it was. I kind of went in, and maybe they'll listen to this because I have shared this out to some of the people who I worked with, then because it was a really good bunch of people. But I went in with such low expectations, maybe unfairly actually, because some of the people on this level of things are some of the best people you'll probably deal with in the industry. When you get to, or if you get to a high level, that's when you're dealing with personalities, ego, assistants, and all that sort of crap, which sometimes can ruin the fun of things. Um, so yeah, it was. I had probably the best time in a long time, um, in respect to that career that I'm trying to build. So 6 days I was filming straight through, at least 12 hours a day, and then on the last day it was a 7 a.m. start and a 9:30 p.m. finish.
Jeez.
And actually, horrible story. Well, not horrible for me, horrible for the people involved. But when we finished, we were doing the last scene, and because of the location, we had to be out by 10. So we finished the last scene or the last shot at 9:30. We were still in the shot, 6 of us, cast members, while the crew was dismantling because there was no sound for that particular shot. They were dismantling the set around us, outside of the frame. So it was literally that tight of how quickly we had to get out.
It's crazy.
And we'd already agreed we'll go downstairs to the bar because the location was upstairs and across from a bar. And we all agreed we'll go for a drink, but we thought we'd finish at 7. So some of us were dropping out, some of us were too tired, but a handful of us still went down to the bar and had a couple of drinks. Well, I had a drink because I had work the next day, proper work, proper mortgage paying work. And while we were doing that, the bar was right next to the exit for the location. So the crew members were all carting all the equipment, the set. There was about 1 million red curtains purchased. If anyone had any stock in red curtains, by the way, it skyrocketed that week because we just bought a fuck ton of red curtains.
Red curtains? Why?
Yeah, red velvet curtains that were everywhere because of the style of the film.
Okay, it's just
It's a comedy
props.
vampire film.
Oh,
So
okay.
most of the sets were all purple and red and black and gold, and not in a tacky way. It was artsy. But anyway, there's 4 of us sitting in this outside area in this pub, and literally right on the street, like a little outside seating bit. And the crew are walking past us with boxes and bags and crates, huffing and puffing because obviously they've been up. They were on set just before 7 a.m. to set up for us to start
Yeah.
and get in for 7. I think first turnover was like 9:30. There's a few hours there, but still, they were in earlier than us, and they're still carting all this shit around. And we all offered to help. We all said, "Look, we'll give you a hand getting some stuff into the van, which was on the road." And they were all turning us down, so we went downstairs, went to the bar, had a couple of drinks, and they were all carting shit past us. But the faces they were pulling at us, I could tell they were just so pissed off. And I stupidly, after my one drink, went over to the director's wife,
Locked.
who was standing next to the van with the director. She looks like Helen Mirren, by the way. I mean, freakishly so. Like it could actually be Helen Mirren.
Who's that again?
The director's wife. She was also the costume.
No, but like, who's Helen Mirren again?
I don't know who Helen Mirren
Helen
is.
Mirren.
No, I do. I just can't put. Oh, okay, no, I just couldn't put a
She's
face.
Carl's wet dream.
We've
Oh my
discussed
God.
this. We've discussed this. I don't
to a
put
name.
faces to names.
Have you seen Red? The film Red.
Yeah, I'm
She's
looking at a
the
picture of her
female
now.
assassin. Yeah. So she looked like her, but with black hair, like eerily so. A younger version, maybe a 50-year-old Helen Mirren. But anyway,
Helen Mirren is 72 years old.
yeah, she's
Holy
yeah,
shit.
Born in 1945.
yeah, impressive.
That was the year World War II ended.
Yeah,
I
it was.
think.
Coincidence? I think not.
Shall we
I'm
ask
pretty
Logue
sure it's
for
1945 was
verification?
in the World War II. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
it was.
So you
1939
were
to
drunk on your one drink and you physically assaulted a Helen Mirren lookalike.
No, so I was a little bit tipsy off my one drink because it was a delirium red, which is about 8.4%.
My one drink, which was a quadruple vodka.
Yeah, basically. So I stumble over to the van. The director's there, and some police had been talking to him earlier because they were parked on double yellows on the road. It was the only access to get all the stuff in the van. So I don't know what was said, but I think they got a telling off. So they were pissed off, and especially with us because we were all sitting in the pub laughing, cheering. They're all carting everything out of this location back into the van, and the van was full. I mean, to the brink on this door, it was full. She looked knackered as well, and I went over and I stupidly said, "You're right. I've just come over to give you a hand." You know, it's blatantly obvious the van's full, and she just said to me, she looked at me, "Don't, Ben, don't, just please don't." And I thought she was going to burst into tears. I felt fucking awful. I said, "I'm really sorry. We all offered. We would have helped. Blah 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 blah." Anyway, I gave him a hug and then left. But I've never felt such hatred in a few words. Don't, Ben. Just don't. I was like, oh my god, that was piercing. But yeah, felt awful. But other than that, it was the best time ever.
And
Really,
what did
really,
they
really
expect
good.
though? It sounds like they wanted you to do a whole bunch more than you were actually doing. It's like,
Well,
do you want a hand? No, but
yeah,
fuck you anyway.
Yeah, typically.
Honestly, I'd say there was probably insurance reasons that you couldn't move the ship.
Yeah, there's a bit of that because you've got to
Whoa,
contract how
Killian.
many hours.
I didn't even think of that.
But yeah,
Coming
there
in with
are
hard logic, I know, right?
crew members have different contracts to cast members, but cast members were only signed in for 10-hour days, and obviously we were well past that by this point, voluntarily, I might add, just in case the union is listening. But yeah, I think they understood that we shouldn't have, or we weren't allowed to.
Oh, okay, so they just ended up waiting on you guys.
There is sometimes a mentality of us and them, like in many places where there's like office and factory, crew and cast, that is a bit like us and them, because the crew is always in earlier to set up. The cast are always on 10 to 12-hour days,
And the crew doesn't attend red carpet events.
And
they
the
don't attend
cast
red
get
carpet
all
events.
the glory.
Some crew, directors, producers, but the guys, your Sparks and your set dressers and all those people, and yeah, there's loads of people that don't attend those kind of things.
Yeah,
but
I feel like
they get paid well. They get paid really well.
I feel like if it was up to me and I had just directed or produced or starred in a very big movie and it won an award, I'd like to imagine that I would be like, oh, let's bring everyone here. Let's just fucking flood this award ceremony. Let's bring all of the people involved.
All the runners.
But then it's like, well, I honestly, at the same time, I kind of feel like if I did become some famous actor, I'd be like, fuck all of you. I'm superior.
Yeah,
I am
no,
superhuman.
Kind of
thing
like
is-
Kanye.
Huh?
Don't go
Kind of
into
like Kanye.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Darren gets defensive.
Well, I'm gonna let you finish, Ben. But
So anyway, yeah, I mean, there's loads of crew members from like a runner who literally just does as they're told and move people and stuff around to different levels of it. I mean, you've seen the credits on a film. Can you imagine all of those people coming to an awards ceremony?
Yeah, it'd be insane.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, this is a good chance to maybe, I don't know, put some light on something I've wondered about, and maybe something I should know. What is a grip? Because you see that a lot in movie credits. You know, like lead grip, key grip, backup grip. What the shit is a grip?
A grip. I
Gary,
believe
you
it's
ever heard of
something to do
Google?
with the sound guy?
Yes, I've meant to Google that many times, but I just never have. So yeah.
I am gonna Google it because
Okay.
I'm not,
Well, it's content, Darren. Come on, give me a break.
I'm not sure.
I'm assuming
A
it's
grip performs the crucial role in ensuring that the artifice of film is maintained and that the camera moves are as seamless as possible.
Okay, so maybe I did Google it, and I was like, that's insanely vague.
Grips are technicians in filmmaking and video production. They constitute their own department on a film set and directed by a key grip. So the key grip is the director of the other grips. They have two main functions. The first is to work closely with the camera department to provide camera support, especially if the camera is mounted on a dolly, crane, or in an unusual position, such as the top of a ladder.
It's someone
Some
who
grips-
holds stuff.
Yeah.
Literally.
Some grips may specialize in operating camera dollies or camera cranes. The second main function of grips is to work closely with the electrical department to create lighting setups necessary for a shot under the direction of the director of photography.
Cool.
Also known as grunts.
Yes. So if a director wants to climb a building, he takes a grip up there and say, hold my camera while I do this. Well, actually, the director wouldn't climb the building. He'd be on the floor with a monitor while the DOP goes up and watches the camera. But yeah, there's loads of different terms, like gaffers who are in charge of electricians. They call them sparks as well. Stuff like that. There's loads of different kind of terminology. But yeah, basically, like Darren said, grip is a guy who holds stuff. Hold my penis.
But like, bro, like I'll wear like dope shoes, but if I see someone else wearing dope shoes, I'm not like, oh, you got dope shoes. I'm kind of like, fuck you, man.
Do you know what?
I wear.
I used to do that.
I'm the same. I'm the
That's
same.
weird.
When I meet another Fields of the Nephilim fan, I'm like, you don't fucking like Fields of the Nephilim. What the fuck do you know about good music?
It's weird, isn't it?
I'm the same
I'll
with
see
you.
I'll see a guy with Yeezys, and if I'm not wearing my Yeezys, I'm just like, oh fuck this guy. Like, look at him stunting on me. Like, I have Yeezys too. You fuck.
I'm like that with cars. If I'm driving down the
At
street
least
and
initially.
I haven't got the top model of the car, I've got like the model down, and then I see someone else with the top model or spec of that car. I'm like, fuck you. You're an idiot spending all that money. Why would you do that? You're only like 5% better than this car. Fuck you. My
You
car's
guys,
better than yours.
you
'cause
guys
it saves
just
my
all
money.
sound insecure. So
Yeah,
you
I
should.
know.
Says the guy that does that with phones.
Shut up, Killian.
got him.
I actually don't think that's insecurity because it's not like I'm not good enough. It's like I just want to be better than everybody.
It's competitiveness.
It's
Yeah,
competitiveness.
It is. Disney.
So EA guys,
Yes.
Oh, yeah. How about those
Absolute
microtransactions?
tangent.
Christ, that took long.
literally, I was like, so let's talk about Battlefront 2, and then Killian was like, there's a lot of controversy these days. Half an hour later,
Just in general, like
Understanding people's behaviors and where we all come from. Yeah, so EA, I saw a video, and I think a few of us have seen this, by Skill Up.
wait, hold on. Sorry, Ben. Sorry. Segue. Talking about competitiveness, right? Microtransactions tap into that need to feel competitive so that you can be better than everybody else by spending money instead of working for it, so you can get that upper advantage and you feel better than people around you. Boom. Segue. Nailed it. Continue.
Everybody wants a shortcut.
Actually,
Everybody's naturally
on-
bad.
I would kind of argue with that, right? Because I'd actually feel a lot better, like competitive wise, if like let's say we were in like it was PvP or whatever, and I was fighting against some guy who had bought the guns, right? I'd literally be sitting there and being like, dude, you're worse than me because I earned my guns, like I don't go out there and fucking splurge a load of cash. I'm not a fucking wallet warrior,
You sound like a guy who's just skint and trying to
Yeah.
justify it.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
said-
of course, 100%. Like,
You could say that about Zare in Destiny, though. I don't want to buy your fucking exotics. I want to earn them. I want to get lucky.
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
no. But the thing is, Zera's kind of different though, because you earn the money to buy the exotics in the game.
Yeah, but you
Zare
earn
is
real
different.
money. You earn real money.
Hang on.
No. If you go into Destiny and you could buy strange coins, then I'd be like, Zer, fuck off. I'd rather go like
No, hang on a
farm
minute.
the guns.
Hang on a minute. Xur is a microtransaction. All the vendors are microtransactions because they're selling all the gear you can earn anyway.
Yeah, but you see,
buying
thing is, Zer is different. I think in the fact that like it's not you can't just buy the stuff. Like okay, one,
You're not
Oh, yeah,
using
with cash.
actual
like
cash.
you're not limited by your actual real world account like account balance. Right, that's why the microtransaction for like EA and some other ones are so like that's why it's such an issue. Like we don't mind if it's like in-game currency because you can play the game and earn the currency, and that's the only way to earn it. And that way, it's like literally like if people get the guns from that microtransaction, it's like that person is just they've just played the game and they've spent time on the game. That's all it says. Whereas if someone goes off and buys like 5,000 strange coins and literally just buys out Zer's shop, then we're just like, okay, now you're just taking the piss.
Yeah, Xur's 4 items that everything
Guys,
has in it.
you don't understand. Xur is better than microtransactions because Shikozi uses Xur but doesn't use microtransactions. That's
Yeah,
the
just-
answer.
Just
It's
to
better
build on
because he
something.
can justify it to himself.
I think Jack, you're using the wrong thing. I think Xur isn't a microtransaction. I think microtransaction is classed as the exchange of like real world currency for something in game. That's just an aspect of the game. You
In-app
don't
purchases, yeah.
you don't go to another RPG and call buying a weapon from a vendor there as a microtransaction.
I'm going to throw out there that I wasn't the one who
That's
said
fair.
it was a microtransaction. It was
It
someone
was
else.
Ben. It was Ben
Yeah,
that called it a
oh, okay.
microtransaction.
But no,
Fair
that's
enough,
fine. Yeah, I agree with Killian.
A
Anyway.
microtransaction is classified as a business model where users can purchase virtual goods via micropayments. They're used to drive revenue. By
Which would-
definition,
which
they
would
provide a
suggest-
revenue source for the developer. So
Yeah, which would suggest real life currency then. Okay, I stand corrected. I redact my my comment about microtransactions. So
who here has spent money on microtransactions?
me,
yes.
Me.
Yeah, would have you?
Carl?
Yeah, I'm guilty at some point.
we all
For a
know.
few, actually. I could probably tell you which ones as well.
Rocket
I
League.
think through Rocket League keys for the crates. Some of the Mass Effect 3 crates. Probably bought
Right.
a couple of Overwatch crates as well, but that's about it.
I probably spent I'd say about €200 on Overwatch crates, honestly. Maybe
I
more.
haven't.
Maybe
I
like
haven't.
300-400.
Are you still playing Overwatch?
Nope.
Do you feel like you wasted the money now?
Nope.
Okay.
Which is fair.
Not at all.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
I don't feel like I wasted the money in Rocket League. Spent it. I enjoyed opening the crates, but
Well,
now I
what's
have about 50
the
crates.
thing?
You think that's because the ones that I know, like let's say like Rocket League or Overwatch, the crates you spent on, it's mostly cosmetics. I say mostly because Overwatch, some of the cars are not like they do have differences, but like it's because it's mostly cosmetics. So like, oh, that guy got that item that I was looking for, which makes him a lot better than me. So like, I have to buy more. At which point, there's always going to be a weapon or something that's better than the one that you have. So because it's only cosmetic, everyone has the same. Do you get me?
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
think some cosmetic items can provide an advantage, because if, say, there's only a cosmetic that you can buy through the loot crate system, but it provides a perfect camouflage for your character on a certain map, I would say that's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of other games, like PUBG is a good example. So you can buy clothes on the Steam market for PUBG that are like all different colors. And there are areas of the map that you blend in really well with a certain type of clothing.
no matter what you're wearing, people are still going to think you're a bush.
Yeah, that is true. But like say with Overwatch, I mean, I think the levels are relatively well designed in the sense that kind of no matter what color people are, especially with the whole outline system they implemented recently as well,
Yeah.
that you can see someone, as long as you have like a decent monitor, or you're not playing it on like super low settings or whatever, you'll be able to see pretty much every hero with every
Yeah,
skin
you
on.
could argue that it's a disadvantage having a worse graphics card because the textures are lower res.
Yeah, no,
and
well, I
things-
mean, if you've
things
got a
are
worse
more
graphics card,
wishy-washy.
you have less FPS and your game runs less smoothly. That's
Yeah.
definitely a disadvantage.
Literally. And
So is it pay to win?
I mean, in a sense, yeah. I mean, I could get a better monitor. I could get a 144 hertz monitor, and I would be better at Overwatch. I would
I have a
perform better.
144 hertz monitor.
Yeah,
And it's
I know you do.
glorious.
PC
But,
Master Race.
I like, and then if I went back
I
to
suppose-
CS, I would be way better at CS if I had a 144 hertz monitor, because it really makes a difference in those kind of games.
I suppose, though, it's
But,
the same kind of argument, Gary, that we would have had with archery, in that you can buy all the fancy bows and shit and the best equipment, but you're still going to need to be the one behind it, you know?
Yeah, you still need to be good at using
Yeah.
the equipment you've bought.
But if your input is registered quicker than the other guys, then you have an advantage.
You do, yeah, no doubt, you do.
Mm.
But if you put like a pro player on my setup and me on a pro player setup, he's still gonna shit all over me, you know.
Yeah. Because
Another facet to the discussion as well, and one of the reasons why I don't feel bad about spending money on Overwatch, the game has never charged me for any content prior to me buying the game. Destiny releases, and then you spend money on expansions and Taken King, and then more expansions, and then that other one that I didn't play. And it's just like, that's actual content that if you want to keep playing the game, you really do need to buy it. Like,
Yeah,
sure, you could keep playing vanilla Destiny, but like, you're not really going to, are
Well, they
you?
move the content along, don't they? They restrict access to the
Yeah.
limited time events to the people
Yeah.
who have the newest content, which pissed me off in Destiny 1 big time. But
And as with Overwatch, then it's like, these guys are developing the game for nothing. They've charged me nothing,
yeah,
but they're creating characters. They're constantly providing updates. They're constantly patching the game. What is a couple of, like, I mean, I paid more on World of Warcraft for subscription services, or probably more on Destiny games, honestly.
I think the game that I spent the most money with regards to microtransactions would have to be Warframe. All right, and that's not because I feel the need to get this or I feel the need to get this. It's simply because as you guys all know, I'm a big fan of Warframe. Right, the game has been like it was released before Destiny 1 even came out, and it's still going strong. And that's just because like it's a game that has been just throwing updates like every 2 months at its player base. And it's just like when I buy, when I purchase their premium currency or whatever, it's basically me being like, these guys are doing great, and I would actually like to support them. Do you know what I mean? And it's a free to play game as well, though. You know, it's that whole like you're not obliged to buy anything from them, but you do just because you want to support the actual developers.
that's an easier pill to swallow.
Yeah, I was about to say it being free to play it is a big aspect of that there.
I actually disagree. I think free to play. If the game's free to play, I'm not playing it. Like, genuinely, if you're like, oh, come play this game with me, it's free to play, I'm like, well, then no, I'm not going to play that game. because I know that if it's free to play, they need to make money somewhere. So that means advertisements, which can fuck themselves. If a game has advertisements, even if it's in the launcher, fuck you. Can't play your game. Secondly, if it's free to play, they're charging you for something somewhere. And I'm immediately out. I'm out. I stopped playing Team Fortress 2 the day it went free to play. I was like, it was nice knowing you guys. Flip the table, walk out the room.
Or when Evolve went free to play. I mean, that game maybe had like the tiniest hope of a redemption. If they were like, we've released an update that made the game get all its players back and it's really good now.
Oh man, I loved the idea of Evolve
it was
so much.
Good as a concept.
I was so hyped for Evolve. I remember we would sit around in the house and just talk about how hyped we were for Evolve and how all of us are going to start playing it and it's going to be great and it's going to be amazing. And we had 4 people to play it and we were like, this is it. I'm the healer. You're the trapper. You're the assault. We're going to fucking do this. And we knew what we were doing. And then the game just wasn't fucking fun.
Nope.
It was running around a map, trying to find a monster that we could not find.
See, I think it was fun at the start when we were like kind of discovering new mechanics and all that shit, but it literally got to a point where we were waiting, 10 minutes to find a match, and then when we did, we would find like a monster player who literally had no idea what they were doing and would just run around and we would kill them.
Or we would run around and not find them.
Yeah, or a dude who would just run away and win by timeout, or a dude who was just like one of the 100 people that is still playing the game with like 500 hours on it and just shit all over everyone.
Yeah.
So weird.
And also I played healer and the strategy for monsters to kill the guy who's keeping the other guys alive. Yeah. So I would just get wrecked and I would be like, Trapper, trap him. And they're like, that's Cathal. And then I would be like, and I would be screaming going, I know you're trying. Fucking do it. It's like Yoda, do or do not, man. And he was just failing, or whoever it was. It might have not been called all the time. He was just failing to pin the monster down, so he was just killing me. And then people were like, I'm dying. Darren, why aren't you healing me?
Was it Logue? Your impression sounded like Logue.
I just get so angry, guys. I love playing the healer, but don't let me get hit by things.
I remember you literally said
that's your only job.
I was sitting beside you and you were like, Evan, do you think we'll be playing this game in about 6 months or so? And Evan answered, well, it depends.
It depends if the game is shit or not. I can't tell right now.
I saw an update for The Division coming back out, 1.8, which is completely free.
Carl, I'm blaming you for that one.
Hey, I got back into it lately.
Yeah, that's nice. You still made me buy it.
You might like
I'm
it.
very proud of myself for never playing
1.8.
I'm gonna just go back a bit and kind of argue a bit with Darren's opinion of free-to-play games.
They suck.
I'm gonna use Warframe for an example. It's like, yeah, you were saying that there's ads somewhere, or they're gonna try force you to buy something. Warframe does not. Like anything that you can buy, you can also get in the game.
Oh, no. Don't play that fucking argument with me. That does not matter. If you can pay for a fucking gun or unlock a gun, if you can pay for the gun, people are paying for the gun. I'm at a disadvantage.
No, you're not. You're not, because you pay for the gun. You buy the gun. Like you get the gun. You start to level the gun up. You start to mod the gun. The gun is still going to be shit until you mod it. So it doesn't matter if you pay for the gun. Your gun is still shit. And anyone else can get the same gun and mod it, and it'll still be better than yours.
You can get the gun when you get the parts, the blueprints, and the materials to get it, and then you got to wait 12 hours for it to be built. So it's going to take you 3 weeks to get a gun a guy got in 1 minute. Why would and then the one he can mod in 3 weeks to kick the shit out of yours that you're
Put it this
make
way:
in 3 weeks.
If upgrading a gun is like a race, who's winning the race? The guy who starts first or the guy who starts second?
I think the guy who starts
first.
It was okay. That should be tossed up as to which answer that is.
But what I was going to say, right?
You could no. Hold on, no. Now, poke a hole in my argument. You could be a faster runner.
Right. Well, okay. No. Right. So
right? You could be a faster runner in a race.
Okay.
I don't want to be the fastest runner. I don't want to feel like I have to plow through a game just so I can play the game.
No. What I'm saying, right, is that okay? So like, you could buy the gun, right? But you'd literally have like a few months. Whereas if you went out and you actually farmed the gun, which could actually take you like a day or so, and it takes 12 hours to build it. So 2 days, let's say, right? You farm the gun. You could have the gun parts, and then you'd also probably, like, while farming the gun, you get all the mods you would need to get that gun up to like good level, beast level.
Okay, but surely if you're buying the gun, like I don't know how the game works, but I'm just kind of spitballing here. Surely if you're buying the gun and then say you're trying to farm another gun up and you decide, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy this gun. This gun is like 10 times better than my gun. It's gonna take me ages to farm it out. I'll just fucking buy it. Would you not have stuff from other guns that you could use to mod the gun you've just bought, maybe?
Yeah, you
mods
would
are
have.
universal.
Yeah, like some mods are universal.
Can you
Okay,
buy
Okay,
mods?
well then in that case,
You
you
can't buy
buy the
mods.
gun and then you have a bunch of universal mods from the gun you were farming before when you decided, fuck it, I'll go buy this gun. You put your universal mods on the gun, boom, you're better than
yeah.
everyone at your level, you know?
But
True,
then
true.
if
true.
you assume that everybody starts from 0, so no one's got any mods, or there's no mods for your existing weapon, or they don't transfer, and then one guy buys and then one guy farms for a particular gun. How do you have to wait for the blueprints for that gun though, don't you, before you can go there, or you can buy it with in-game currency?
Can you
the
buy
blueprint.
mods?
Jacozy said you couldn't buy mods. No,
You can't buy mods at real currency. Okay.
no. You can buy. Actually, can you buy mods? I've seen
You
them
can
in
buy
the shop.
you can buy a mod pack, right? Which is like a pack of 5 random mods, right?
Is that platinum
But
or is that in-game
that's
currency?
that's what platinum, right? You can buy a pack of 5 random mods, right? But like that's 5 random mods out of like the thousands and thousands that are in the game.
Sounds like something somebody would spend a lot of money on if they wanted a certain mod.
Sounds like EA works at DE.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
See,
But no,
I
it
just hate
is-
it when microtransactions affect gameplay. Like, like obviously, like, some very, very minor things, that don't really give anybody an advantage, whatever, I don't really care. But if it's like, I know, the one that always springs to my mind is Battlefield 1. No, Battlefront 1, the first Star Wars game that EA did. As soon as the second DLC launched, they put maybe, I don't know, 5 guns in that DLC that you could only get by like playing a certain map and then you would unlock it afterwards or something like that. And they were like way overpowered based on the previous guns that were in the game, like sniper rifles with huge zooms that hadn't been in the game before, or like, guns that were almost hit scan. The bullet velocity would be insanely fast. And I remember loading into a lobby and I was like, man, these guys are just shitting all over me and I can't even see them, And then I find out that they've added like 2 sniper rifles into the game that I have to spend €60 on DLC for. It's like, ugh, come on, please. Like,
Is Warframe PvP, Cozy?
It has a PvP because there's a lot of jonesing for PvP, #killing. But the PvP is god awful.
So in a PvE aspect, someone paying to win doesn't affect your game.
It does not affect your game whatsoever.
And that's the core of Warframe, isn't it? The PvE.
Even the PvP, a lot of the guns and your mods, a lot of them are restricted, and they just have like a kind of like a base damage rate. So it's like more so like the gun you take into the battle has an effect. So you can't mod your gun to be like some overpowered machine,
So in your opinion, then, is there any piece of PvE content which you feel you're underpowered for and would need to buy a gun to get past?
No. So the beauty of Warframe is that everything scales to whatever level you want it to scale at.
Because you're constantly in beast mode, aren't you? You're just fucking
So you could like if you go in and you're getting wrecked by level 30 enemies, it's simple. Just go fight some level 20 enemies.
Yeah.
Like the loots table is pretty similar between the two of them.
And there's enough content to move between as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was assuming that it was PvP mostly.
No, it's a mostly PvE game.
Okay. Well, in that sense, then yeah, I guess having a paid shortcut, but you would be able to use that in PvP, right? You'd be able to use whatever you get.
Yeah, you can use whatever you get in the game. Like any can be used in PvP. But as I was saying, a lot of the guns and weapons have all been nerfed for PvP. Like they've all been kind of given like a flat damage rate and everything, like flat fire rate, so you can't kind of go.
Yeah, so if you were to like buy a crazy gun and mod it out with like, as much as you could spend on microtransactions, it wouldn't actually give you that much of an advantage, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't have.
I think that's where microtransactions are going to coming into play when your purchases affect somebody else's game experience. And this we touched on. I'm not sure if this was in the episode which we couldn't get out. We touched on the Activision. Oh no, it was. It was in episode 6, I think, or 5. The Activision patent where they match you with somebody who
Yeah.
has bought something. So in a PvP aspect, I would say there shouldn't be any microtransaction items carried in. Like on it's a rudimentary example, but GT Sport, when you get gifted a car from the game, so if I do a daily achievement, they give me a car, I can't sell that for money. So it's not like I can just log in, not do any races, just do whatever, some training or whatever, earn enough miles, and then they give me a car, then sell that for money to buy a car I actually want. Can't do that. So I can't do that in that kind of game. It's possible to do that in other PvP elements. So in PvE, you can rock out with your full loadout, but then in PvP, you're not allowed to get something you're not allowed to take in something you've bought. And
Yeah,
that
you
item
see,
is highlighted as a
I don't
purchase.
mind that. I think that makes a lot of sense because, you know, if you want to spend money on the game, hell, go for it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there are some games companies who have been in the limelight recently that, you know, some people might tell you you're a bad person for giving them money, or, you know, you shouldn't be doing this or whatever. But I think, you know, if it makes you happy and you have the money to spend, fucking do I, you know, whatever.
This is where the
And
Halo multiplayer came into its own, because everybody started with the same 2 guns,
I
and
yeah,
love
then you
that.
yeah,
would race to the map to get there, and you would some maps were better than others in giving players an advantage or a disadvantage with their positioning, but they did it really well. And it's a shame but that's Bungie. That was
yeah,
Bungie. And now it's a bit of a clusterfuck of just content and people buying stuff and playing
yeah,
to
for
win
sure.
and not being asked. But this is the shortcut lifestyle we live at the moment. And I had a good example actually of why younger people are struggling with some technology now, because newer technology is being made so innovative or intuitive in inverted commas there, because it's doing a lot of the work for you, which is why if you put them on something like Windows XP and trying to find out what the fuck's gone wrong with the Windows computer, they're not gonna have a fucking clue, because
Yeah,
now OSs are steered towards very simple rudimentary designs that it's just point and click, nice and easy, big pictures, big icons, and people
like
struggling with the
imagine
technology.
imagine having a Windows troubleshooter that worked. That's crazy to me.
But this is yeah, I don't know why I went off on that tangent. They're catering to people who just can't fucking be bothered. Can't be bothered to
In that
grind.
case,
I'll
take up a
buy it.
different hobby. Gaming's not for you. Go play a fucking mobile phone game where you can sink time in Candy Crush and shit like that.
So just back onto the whole EA thing.
Oh my god, I was waiting for so long there so I could be like, back to EA, guys, again.
So
Battlefront 2.
I don't want to promote the guy too much. I like his videos. Skill Up did a great video on YouTube about Battlefront 2 and EA and the history of microtransactions and where they've come from. Because this all started back in the FIFA world and Ultimate Team, which we
Ultimate
touched on
Team, yeah.
before, Darren. Yeah, and it came back from, what was it, 2007, FIFA 2007, something like that.
No, not 2007. It would have been, I
2009
would
or
say
2009.
2009. So
Something like that.
2008 was the first one on PS3 and Xbox, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it wasn't in that. I think it was 09, if I had to guess.
So the video
Just a long time ago.
it is a must watch to see where this has come from and whose idea it was. It just so happened to be the current CEO of EA, and it was his brainchild of implementing this this system into the game, and then it was also his brainchild to move on and make it a real life currency purchase. And it's now the biggest, I think, for EA, between their game sales and their FIFA Ultimate Team or their microtransactions in game purchases, they are almost level with their annual revenue. So if microtransactions just fell out, its arse just fell out and they disappeared overnight, EA would be half the size of its current state financially. And I think that's a dire state for any game developer to be in, and that tells me that where their priorities are is not game development, it's the microtransactions, because that's what's growing for them. So why would they not, as a business, push that element? The video is a must watch. I'll link it in the description when this goes up, so it's worth a watch. I think it's about half an hour, but it's the most insightful 30 minutes I think you'll have in where gaming is now and where gaming's going, and obviously where it's come from.
I saw something in work yesterday that really annoyed me. So we got the sleeves, like the pre-order sleeves or whatever, for for the new UFC game, UFC 3 that's coming out in, I don't know, whatever time it's coming out.
Yeah, I saw it on the
And,
beta, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that like on the back of it was like, oh, get ready to make your ultimate UFC team, and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because like they're basically setting up on microtransactions, and people will have to start buying probably like loot boxes or whatever to buy fighters and all this other stuff, and I'm like,
Not just fighters, it goes one deeper than that, because it's also a Need for Speed Payback where you'll buy a car, but then you have to buy upgrades for that car for it to be up to its original spec. So the UFC fighters come out and they're all shit, basically. So you buy a fighter with a microtransaction. This was an uproar in the beta. There was an article about it recently. So you'll buy a fighter who's meant to be one of the best, but his attributes are shit. So then you have to buy the attributes to make him as good as he actually should be. It's a massive clusterfuck at the minute of just this model that EA have implemented into every format. Every game from EA is going to have this now because it's a $1 billion idea for them.
I don't know the way it's been in the past few weeks with Canada. They've got involved. No,
It's
Belgium,
Belgium and
yeah.
somebody else. I don't know if it was Canada.
But like I know like
Hawaii.
Belgium like I know Belgium wants to class loot boxes as gambling, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's gonna stop EA, because no matter what happens, like I know people like there's an uproar about Star Wars, right? And yeah, it is precedent because EA is now trying to move this fucking sports game model into other games, and like everyone's just like, no, get your shit together, like, you know, it's not happening. But it's like even if they don't do it with Star Wars, they're gonna keep on doing it with FIFA, because no matter what happens, the people that play FIFA will always, or the people who buy FIFA points will always buy FIFA points.
Darren, have you ever bought FIFA points?
I think I may have, like,
You
7
dirty
years,
bastard.
7 years ago. So
But
yeah.
it's not something you buy in now.
Oh no, I don't
Into
even
it.
play that. I don't even play that game mode.
Okay.
I don't play that game mode because I won't buy FIFA points. And I know if I play
You
that
won't be
game
able to
mode
compete.
and try to play it legitimately, I won't be able to compete.
Yeah.
Because some lad.
Purposely
But see,
designed.
you know what's actually worse, right? So in FIFA Ultimate Team, you earn gold by doing things, and you can spend gold on packs, or you can buy FIFA coins, right? Or FIFA points, sorry, and use them to buy packs. But it's still like buying a loot box with in-game or your own money, currency, in-game currency. But there's an even worse way, and it goes back to like the days of WoW, is that you can buy gold. So instead of buying FIFA points through EA, there's people that farm in-game currency. And then you pay them real life money, and they'll sell you a shit card. You'll sell them a shit card. You sell them a card for whatever amount of gold you're buying. So it's like a way of them basically giving you in-game currency as opposed to the FIFA points, and they make a business out of it. And the reason why you do this is that you can use the in-game currency to buy single cards. So if I wanted to buy Ronaldo, I'd need to use in-game currency. But you can't use the FIFA points to buy Ronaldo, only packs. So in-game lets you pick a player you want to buy. If you spend your own money on EA, you can't. But then there's people that are exploiting that and charging real money for the in-game currency so you can. So it's like this whole dark
shit, isn't it?
spiral. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, it goes into detail on how it's all constructed in that video, but the fact that they're trying to put that into all these other games is going to make the atmosphere in those games exactly like that. And the time it's really going to come to light is when it crosses over into the main game. And I think Battlefront 2 was the first instance of that with these loot crates. You cannot compete in multiplayer, which is the prime element of that game, barring a 8-10 hour campaign. I'm not sure the campaign time.
It's 8 to 10, I think.
The only reason you're going to turn that game back on is to go back into PvP and play all these grand game modes in PvP.
Yeah, true.
But you can't compete unless you spend money.
Is it as bad as you can't compete?
Yeah,
I think
that's where the biggest complexity
I
comes
think
from.
it was pretty much spend money or do a bit of grinding, essentially.
I don't
But
think
the
it was
grinding
just a
element
bit of
was
grinding.
Yeah,
so
the problem
extreme.
was
It was
the
so
grinding was like 40 hours for one hero.
It was geared.
Okay,
it was
so
geared
I-
towards making people spend money.
So I watched a stream of somebody playing, and they were essentially asked by their Twitch chat what their reaction to the whole EA scandal was, and their opinion, and they were like, obviously like a decent player, but they said that the fact, that it's like 40 hours to unlock these 2 heroes, they said it's easily 20 if you're decent at the game, and then that it's not actually that difficult to get them if you just play. Like if
Well,
you were to just play the game.
the
I
goalposts,
actually,
think.
even before they changed the goalposts, I actually don't think this was nearly the worst case of microtransactions. I feel like whatever it is, Star Wars was big enough to break the camel's back.
Yeah, like I think that like obviously Shadow of War sneaking the whole like microtransaction behind everyone's back, like, but everyone like, it was still there. But I think that Star Wars kind of set precedent that like kind of did like this shit needs to kind of stop, or at least it needs to not be as in your face aggressive microtransaction selling.
Wouldn't it be funny if all of this was just a ploy from the governments around the world to start taxing loot boxes because they've seen how big it is? Like, it's nearly $1 billion from EA that they're earning from this. Wouldn't it be just so funny if all this media coverage was just the government saying, right, we need to get taxing this because we're losing out on a fuckload of money?
How do we think this is solved? Like, how do we think this goes away?
I don't know
Is
whether
this
it's going
the
to
start?
Well, the thing is, if you watch that video again, they make a point of companies like EA saying games.
So I have to watch it twice then?
No.
Watch it and watch it again.
If you watch it twice?
Yeah, watch it twice.
Like the unusual
then pay me a second time. The thing is, games aren't more expensive as the companies seem to believe. They don't cost any more than they do, and they're making more money off base sales anyway compared to games like 20 years ago, 10 years ago. More people are gaming than ever before. They don't really need to do this. It's all for greed. They don't need extra money.
Yeah.
They're making enough money as it is. Even if they want to charge a bit more for the base game itself as it is, I know right now they go between £40, £50 on average. If they want to charge 60, that's fine. I remember paying £60 for Sonic 3 back in '94. I
paid 70 for the Two Towers on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, me too.
I paid 70 for Virtual Racing on the Mega Drive. That was
Jesus Christ.
right, but back
I
then
never
it was
remember
expected because of the cartridge, and games are better than they were back then. Now, so it's just like, charge a bit more for them. Give me the full fucking game. Don't charge all these bells and whistles where I need to fucking keep up with the Joneses, but pay money for it. Give everyone the same thing.
If Battlefront 2 came out and it was €100, but you had all the heroes, people would be like, "You're charging €100 for a game?"
Yeah.
And the EA's response would be, "Well, we could use loot crates," and people would be like, "Fuck you, EA! You're holding us for ransom." So I don't know, like, where the fuck do you win?
Isn't this very similar scenario that came out where it's like you can buy the game, the full game for like €10 on the mobile phone, or whatever. You get or you get the demo, and then you can, like, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but I remember people like just giving out. Sorry, one sec, guys. My house is being attacked by seagulls.
So I'll just move on to a different point then. I think what should happen is developers should just make the game and give us the game in its entirety for its content.
That would
like they usually do.
Like they usually do. Then when we've bought that game, they then continue the development of, say, a upgrade pack or a DLC pack that is charged later on, and we'll pay for that afterwards. That's fine. So we'll finish this game with like maybe 40 hours of gameplay, which is fine. That's great for a game. And then we move on to the DLC, another 20 hours of gameplay for, say, 20 quid. Yeah, whatever. I'll pay that. But it's because the expectation is you need to spend hundreds of hours or thousands of hours in a particular game, and they've seen people are doing this, so they've decided, how can we make money from the fact that they're still just playing this one game?
Yeah.
Is it because they're artificially trying to extend the lifespan of the game while also squeezing money out of the people?
Yeah. If you're going to sit there and play 1,000 hours, then we'll do this and we'll get you money. Like Destiny was probably the first one on console to do it to that extent. Thousands of hours people put in. Here's a bright engram. Oh, you can buy silver now. What?
Yeah, every game needs to have some sort of end game content for some reason. Like, what happened to just buying a game, playing the fuck out of it, then moving on to the next one? It's like, no, we need to keep people locked in. Let's get people grinding for 40 hours to get this one character and playing it a year for 2 years. I mean, why do that? Look at one of the best-selling games of all time. It's not everyone's taste, but Modern Warfare 2. I think it's like, is it the best-selling Call of Duty of all time? And when that came out, you got the full game, and that was it. Then they had like 1 or 2 DLC packs after that for PvP maps, and that's it. There's nothing else on there, and it's the best-selling Call of Duty of all time.
They've changed the approach to game development now, haven't they? Instead of thinking, how do we get this in a nice little package as a complete game? There you go. There's the game. Now they slice bits out. They give options to upgrade certain bits. They give you little extras you can tack on.
Yeah, it
all this
feels
extra
more like
stuff.
a process that is just kind of started with the release of the game, and then they're like, "Oh, we're bringing this," and it's like, well, I kind of feel like that should have been in the game. You know,
Yeah.
if this was 10 years ago, that would definitely be in the game. You know,
And this is why development teams
Destiny
have
1
hundreds
to
and hundreds of
Destiny
people.
2.
Here's the thing then. Like best value for games. I was thinking about this. I can't remember if I spoke about this the other week.
Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey.
You started playing it yet, Mario Odyssey?
No, but I'm just saying those games are 200 hours
Oh,
and there's not a single microtransaction.
no.
And
Yeah.
Nintendo actually gave you stuff if you signed up for the newsletter. They would give you stuff in Breath of the Wild. Like they would just give you materials.
That's not
No,
that's not
those
the
are games ever.
examples I had, but here we go. Let's mention another Star Wars game. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike on the GameCube. Not only do you get the full game, you can also unlock the original Star Wars arcade game, the original Empire Strikes Back arcade game, and then you can also play Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader in 2-player split screen mode. Value for money, 40 quid. Today, that would be broken down piece by piece for you to pay for. And let's say another one, Time Splitters 2, all the different modes you get in that.
Oh, Time Splitters 2
Right.
is so good.
What I
Favorite game on the PS2.
what I
Apart from
think
maybe Shadow of the Colossus.
happened, right, was
And we're still
that
talking about Time Splitters 2? Whoa, what the fuck? Hang on, let's just. How good was Time Splitters 2 though? All the modes, you got the arcade mode, play mode. Every
The
level
monkey-
felt like a different fucking game.
okay.
the
So
monkey with
what
his
I was gonna say,
hitboxes.
real quick. So what I think happened, right? Like the reason that the game world is now like this is because there's been a massive shift from like kind of like local story based or like local co-op to like massive like or like just multiplayer, online multiplayer, where basically like you go on, right, and even if you decide not to get it, someone you know might decide to get it, and it's like, oh crap, I want to play with that person, so now I have to get it, and it's just that whole kind of like it's not really peer pressure, but in a way it kind of is, and it's just like the campaign now feels like the afterthought, whereas before the multiplayer always felt like the afterthought.
Yeah, it felt.
yeah,
like
I
this
was
coming
going to
for a
say
while.
that as well. It has. I feel like it has a lot to do with the departure from the focus of games companies being PvE to PvP, because obviously I think in the last couple of years with, I don't know, with kind of like esports scene kind of becoming a more, I don't know, prevalent thing, the PvP
Generally,
side of games.
PvE is still used in multiplayer games. You would just say single player. Like PvE is cooperative multiplayer against the computer, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it technically cooperative?
Yeah.
Can it not just be single player? Okay, sorry.
In
We'll
multiplayer
hold it.
games, otherwise it's just a single player game. In my head, anyway, I don't know if that's like technically right.
Okay.
It
Well,
sounds weird
I
that you're-
was just kind
I
of using
wouldn't-
them as.
I wouldn't sit down and play Nier Automata and be like playing some PvE.
Yeah.
I would sit
Yeah.
down and say playing a single player game, you know.
Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
guess.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
What was I going to say? Oh, but yeah. So like Carl and Ben were saying, you know, somebody is, you know, they're playing a PvP game and they put like what 1,000, 1,500 hours into it. You kind of need something from that person in, you know, in terms of money, or you know, maybe even an option of making money from that person without having them buy another game, because you know, buying another game is like, okay, I've just bought another game, there better be a whole game's worth of content in here.
Yeah, a perfect example is Halo 2 to Halo 3. Halo 2 multiplayer. Carl, how many hours did we put into that on the long evenings?
Well, Halo 3, fucking 3,000 hours at a guess.
Yeah, and it was every night, 4 or 5 hours just in PvP. It even was like that with Battlefield.
We didn't
Bad
call it
Company.
PvP back then, did we? That wasn't even a
No,
separate.
it was just multiplayer.
You don't, yeah.
Was it Halo 2 that we put fuckloads of hours in?
No, Halo 3. We hadn't played Halo 2.
Did we? Oh yeah, because that was the bridge onto the first online multiplayer, wasn't it?
Yeah, Halo 2 had multiplayer on it, but it was
Halo 3 was that.
we all got 360s, didn't we? We just
Yeah.
played that.
But the only reason we would buy the next one by the next Halo was for the campaign. It was never for I've got to get this for the new multiplayer, like the attitude is now. It's I've got to get that to play the next campaign, because that was the meat. That wasn't the shitty little bread around it. That was the meat of.
I will say after maybe Modern Warfare 2 for COD, that's what it became for everyone for that series as well. Go for the multiplayer thing.
Yeah, and that's where we've bridged.
I would
now.
argue
Now
it was Modern Warfare 2 was for the multiplayer. I think Modern Warfare 1
enough,
came out, everyone jumped in, played the single player, and was like, that was amazing. And they were like, oh, there's a multiplayer, let's check that out. And then that became a crazy success, which then led to, I think, Modern Warfare 2 being really multiplayer focused. The amount of changes they made between 1 and 2 for multiplayer, like the kill streaks were suddenly customizable. Everything was suddenly much more customizable, way more stuff. I think like the story in Modern Warfare 2 was really short, from my memory at least.
But even with putting 3,000 hours into Halo 3 multiplayer, I never thought I can't wait to get Halo 4 and play some more multiplayer. Never thought that. My mind was only in can't wait to play Halo 4 campaign, because there was so much replayability in the Halo campaign just for very simple mechanics of skulls and the difficulty levels. Like getting a legendary campaign completion was a badge of honor in Halo 3. It's like, yeah, I finished it on legendary solo. Fuck you all. In fact, the library level. Fuck that.
Oh god.
Well, hang on, wasn't that?
No, that was
2?
the first one. Well, you had like a library in Halo 1 too. Like, oh
Yeah.
god, when in Halo 2, oh, we've got another library. What? Fuck no, no.
Yeah,
no one's
it
that.
was the worst level ever. But anyway, I never thought, even after all, can't wait to get the new Halo to play multiplayer. It was always for the campaign, and I think maybe Killian was right there. That gap was bridged around the Modern Warfare 2 and or even Modern Warfare 1. So maybe COD's to blame for the multiplayer swing for people's attitudes now. Can't wait to get Destiny 2, play some multiplayer. Not necessarily
At least in first person, because I mean, World of Warcraft was the biggest game in the world at that time already, and that's MMO, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
still multiplayer, but
yeah,
it
it's
was
kind
huge.
of it's a single. It is that it's a hybrid, because the multiplayer is forever existing there. But you can play it single player to an extent. There's some activities which you require a group for, but you can play it single player. But I think where there was a defining line, where there was even in a menu, single player game, multiplayer game,
Yeah,
and you would go in and select hardline
Yeah.
in the middle, and that wasn't really the option with games like that. So from the off, they were always the hybrid, but games where
sure.
there was the option.
Sure, Jesus. The first I remember of that was Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, where you had to launch 2 different launchers back in 2001 on the PC.
The single player and multiplayer.
Yeah, two different.
I actually
programs,
I'm just thinking it's been a long time since I've played a game that when I launched said single player, multiplayer, and you picked one.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last game I played it.
Or you straight into a loader or a login screen.
Yeah, the menu is generally contained within the main game, but these are. Wait, were
Yeah, but
these
not even
was...
that. But like even jumping into like Modern Warfare 2, and it was like single player and then multiplayer on the right, and then the left was that the trial
Spec Ops thing.
Spec Ops,
Yeah,
which
was a
I
good mode. I enjoyed
That
which
it.
I
was fun,
finished
yeah.
co-op split screen with a friend.
69 stars, boy. What?
Me and a friend sat down and played the whole Spec Ops
Was it Gary?
on veteran. No, you don't know. I did the whole thing on veteran, the two
know
of us, and I actually, I actually platinumed Modern Warfare 2, and I remember the last
Same.
Spec Op that we couldn't finish on veteran was the one in the airplane graveyard where you need to get to the end of it, and there was like a million juggernauts being thrown at you,
Oh my
and we were
God,
just
yeah.
like
Yes.
basically like. That entire game mode on veteran, it's just a hiding and going, please no grenades, please no grenades.
You
and
run
then-
up the ramp and over, and then you just keep running.
That was the one part where you run up the ramp and you're going down the hill and there's just fuckers in every direction.
But
But
over
I
the
remember
past few
finishing
years-
that, the two of us like screaming and hugging each other, and then bing, like platinum trophy, and it was just like the greatest feeling. And then I
But
put
there's-
Modern
there
Warfare
isn't-
2 down and never played it again.
There isn't that feeling anymore. Now it's like, right, what loot have I got?
Damn,
that's
I want to
shit,
play
I've
Modern
got to do it
Warfare,
again.
do the Spec Ops.
Yeah, I do. I've only got it on 360 though. But during that time, there was a wave of games where they started to just tack on multiplayer. Do you remember? It was like, why has this game got multiplayer? I think Uncharted was one of them as well. Why has this game got multiplayer? Doesn't need multiplayer. And other games started to just get tacked on multiplayer modes, which you would just buy for the single player. You wouldn't even consider the multiplayer aspect. Mass Effect as well, another one.
Uncharted.
Yeah, and it's just now it's what multiplayer game there. Like even myself, when I log onto my PlayStation, I have a huge collection of these single player, solid 8, 9, 10 out of 10 games that I'm just not playing because I'd rather just sit and play Rocket League for half an hour and piss about in that and have a laugh, rather than dig into some really good single player. So I feel like I'm just being transformed by this wave in gaming at the moment, where it's all about the multiplayer, it's all about 1,000 hours, it's all about microtransactions. I just feel like it's not a very nice place to be anymore. It's rather just fucking play some Rocket League.
That's why Nintendo are like the series at the moment. Every game they've put out this year,
the best game.
Best game.
Two
contenders for best game of the year.
No more.
Not a microtransaction site. At the same time, you've got EA saying no single player games anymore. Fuck you, EA.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Nintendo are banking on an entire console, on two of the best games ever made. And the Switch is going to be their biggest success. It is. It's already smashed the fucking Wii U out of the park. It's already smashed the PlayStation sales figures.
It's still nowhere near the Wii though.
No, it's on track. It's on track for beating the.
Oh, is it?
It's actually
is it fucked?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That's mad.
I'll find an article for that, but I read it this week.
Yeah, it's on a greater trajectory right now than the Wii was. But that's what happens when you fucking launch the best games ever made. And has there been a patch yet, Carl? Has there been a fucking balancing? Has there been?
No, not none of that.
They've patched it, but like that's just to like make the OS better and shit. Like I don't think they've patched. I don't remember them patching Breath of the Wild once when I was playing it. I was a bit late.
There's 2 patches. Yeah, there's 2 patches. One was last week for Xenoblade Chronicles quest that they've added. But apart from that, there's no like tweaking on these 2. There's maybe some frame rate issues they've sorted out, but that's it. There's no game breaking bugs.
But I've looked at Breath of the Wild on the Wii, not on the Wii, sorry, on the Switch, and it looks amazing. I mean, even though graphically it's not photorealistic at all, it's a very defined art style, but it looks incredible.
It doesn't look so great on like a big monitor when it's only 720, but when you're playing it on the Switch, it is beautiful.
It comes into its own,
it's
doesn't
900 on monitor when it's docked.
Oh, 900, okay, my bad.
Do they scale it up from the Switch when you plug it in, or
it's like native 900 when you're on docked mode, and it's like
because the GPU and the CPU can run faster because it's not having to use a battery supply.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So it can run at hotter temperatures and what have you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the performance gets better when it's docked.
Yeah, I know when you plug in most stuff to HDMI, through HDMI to a TV, it actually uses the TV visual drivers as well. So it could be that too. It kind of uses some of the processing power in the TV.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just looking forward to buying Super Mario Odyssey for Christmas and going home and just playing Super Mario Odyssey and like moving between TV and handheld. Like it's just so nice. Like you're like, I'm tired. I'm so tired of sitting at this desk. You just like pick it up, walk upstairs, get into bed, and continue playing. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's something I don't have at the moment. Like I have my PC, and that
makes it difficult to go back. It does. It's weird. It's like just so. And its problem is with PC games is that they look so great and blah blah blah. But you need a mouse and a keyboard on a desk.
Yeah.
There's no way you can translate that to bed. Like I've tried playing PC games in bed with keyboard on my lap and the like mouse on my side. It doesn't.
We all have like it just doesn't work. It's just too bad. Like.
But yeah, I mean, just look at the front of the Switch. It's so simple, and some of the best games ever made are on that.
It's basically a modified Nvidia Shield.
Yeah, basically.
Just wait for Pokemon to come out, and you can like meet up with your friends and like just connect straight to their systems. And it's like back to like days of the fucking Game Boy with the link cable.
I hope they do Pokemon on Pokemon little fights where you and your friend locally can take a little Joy-Con each and have little Pokemon fights between you. Like
in a perfect world, what they would do is what they do for Pokemon tournaments, where you just pick your Pokemon, choose their level, choose what moves they have, choose their EVs, and battle each other. As opposed to having to level, because that's what they do for tournaments. You just emulate it, and you just basically design your Pokemon and battle each other. And it's all about the tactics, not like the training part. And I wish they had like a quick play, like pick your team, level cap 50, pick your moves,
like Super
go.
Smash Brothers, Pokemon.
Oh my god, Super Smash Brothers is coming for Switch eventually as well. I just fucking forgot about that. Oh boys.
I'm so glad I got Emily a Switch. So glad.
I didn't even know you had gotten her a Switch actually. That's great.
Oh yeah, I got because Emily had some eye surgery a couple of weeks ago. Not for like laser eye surgery, none of that shit. Proper medical stuff. But while she was at home, Carl kindly arranged to have a Switch sent to my house. And Emily was playing. I gave it to her early as an early Christmas present, so she could play that while she was she was recovering from eye surgery, which in hindsight was probably not a good idea.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
I'm sitting here
She
thinking,
wasn't allowed to
like,
look at
what's the
screens
thinking
for
behind
extended
this?
periods of time. But yeah. So yeah, I'm so glad I've got one. I loved Super Smash Bros. Melee. And the
I
fact
also
was
like
good at it.
Brawl. I liked Brawl a lot as well. to be
I never
honest.
played Brawl, just Melee.
I played the Wii U one, which was pretty decent.
I
fact,
haven't played the Wii U one or the
It's my
3DS
favourite one, I think, because Melee I thought was a bit overrated. I thought
Overrated.
it's good.
It was solid. It was solid.
It's good, but the Americans fucking cream themselves over it so much. Never understood why. But the
Which
new
one was the best
on
one?
well, that's meant to be that's the most popular one, but I do prefer the Wii U version.
Of Melee, or was that Brawl?
No, Brawl is the Wii version, but the Wii U
Oh.
version is. Don't know what its subtitle is.
I don't think it has one.
No,
Just Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I think so.
it's on 3DS as well, though.
Yeah, they had like a staggered launch where it's like the same game, but it's not the same game.
Slightly different.
Isn't it
graphic.
crazy how we take the piss out of Forza 7 and Gears of War 45 and all that shit, but then we're on Mario Kart 8 and God knows what kind of iteration of Mario now.
Yeah, but that's in 20 years. I mean, look how many Call of Duties we've had in the past 10 years alone.
Too many.
So I mean, yeah,
How many
it's
Assassin's
one,
Creed?
but in 20 years, yeah,
FIFA.
there's more Assassin's Creed games than there are Mario Kart games. I know what I'd rather be playing.
But it fucks me off because every time I buy FIFA, people are like, "Oh, you're buying FIFA. It's the same game."
Yeah,
and
Carl.
it's like, but most of the time, people say that to me. They just don't like football. It's not that the game is the same thing. You just don't like football, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't play Mario Kart 20 million and tell me then that FIFA's the same game every year.
It's
You're
like
jumping
saying-
on fucking shit. It's
like
just you're
saying-
jumping on different shit. You
Why
know?
are you buying another Gran Turismo game? And that person probably doesn't like racing.
I think with the
That's
whole
all.
FIFA thing, it's because they release a game every year. So how much of an could they have in a year? Do you know what I mean?
How many years has there not been a Mario game? Like in the last 15? There's a Mario game every fucking year, dude.
That's true.
Yeah, there is. Whether it's a
I do.
Mario single player kind of adventure, it might not be, but there has pretty much been a Mario game every year. Mario and Rabbids, Mario Kart,
New Super Mario Brothers, Mario Maker, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario
Paper
Galaxy
Mario.
1, Paper Mario, Paper Mario, Paper Mario. I don't know. It just feels like
Yeah.
maybe it's not as it's the thing is that it's not Super Mario 07, Super Mario 08.
Do you know what
Super Mario
Nintendo Switch
09.
needs? I just had a thought in my head. And Reggie, if you're listening, which I know you fucking are,
Virtual console.
they need their entire back catalogue.
Oh, it's
You're-
coming.
Can
It's
you
coming though. It's
imagine?
coming.
Can you imagine?
No, all I want
just-
F-Zero GX, F-Zero GX HD online, and I can give you 200
You
quid
were-
for that.
You were
Fuck if
so
you need it.
excited there, Carl. You were just clipping out because you were so fucking screaming. Like, F-Zero,
Burst your
F-Zero.
mic.
I'll give you 200 quid. Reggie's listening. He's noted.
F-Zero GX, whatever the fuck. I'll suck your dick. I don't give a shit. Give me that fucking shit.
Carl, I got news for you. F-Zero was shit.
F-Zero GX is the fucking...
think I would have
it's
that.
the shit.
I have that reaction for a Demon Souls PlayStation 4 4K remake.
Oh, Shadow of the Colossus.
Speaking of which, they're turning the servers off next year, right?
Yeah, I know they're turning the servers off, so everyone thinks that means it's getting a remake. For some reason, it's like when they turned off the Halo 2 servers. They did. I don't know. They did remake Halo
Yeah.
2. Oh my god, they're remaking Demon Souls.
That's the thought process there. That's it.
Yeah. Servers are being switched off. They're remaking it. Just Cause 2. They're turning the servers off. There's
They're
no remake.
remaking it.
They're remaking Star Wars Battlefront 1.
Let us switch gears now. I think we've talked about video games for a long time. Let's close out the podcast by talking about superheroes.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a couple of things. First of all, the Avengers Infinity War trailer came out this week. It broke the internet. It was the most watched trailer within 24 hours of all time. I think if you've been following the Marvel movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all its movies, I think it's 17 or 18 movies. I think Black Panther might be number 18.
Is it
Before- I will
18
find
already?
out.
Jesus. There's so
Think
many.
about this. Think about this. These are all in universe 18 movies leading up to one movie that has every character from those movies in it. Now, I was looking at this the other day. Was the numbers of movies in a franchise and what's the highest? And I think, technically speaking, the most movies in a franchise is like Barbie.
Okay.
And then after that, it's James Bond.
So I've got some facts for you then.
Okay.
There's 17 films that have been released since 2017. Sorry, 2007. So that's more than one.
Is that including Black Panther?
That is in. No, it's not, because that's
So when I said 18
sorry.
is Black Panther. 2018 is Black Panther, and it's the number 18.
So that's going to be the number 18th. And there are 9 more in development, which is Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Untitled Avengers film,
Infinity War 2, yeah.
Untitled Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then other potential projects, because there's like Black Adam and some other shit going on.
Black Adam is DC.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, I was just about to correct myself there. That is DC.
Adam Warlock is going to be in it in some degree in the future. I don't know if he's getting his own movie.
Well.
You think Captain Marvel, Jude Law?
Captain Marvel, Jude Law? No, he's too old.
I think.
I remember seeing that.
I think that was announced this week or last week, or he's in talks. Yeah.
No way. He is way too old. Just on a side note, can we just say that there's an Uncharted film origin story coming out? It's got Tom Holland in it as a young Nathan Drake.
Oh, that's
which
perfect.
I think is perfect casting. But we're trying to think of who would be
Rumored.
pretty
much it.
Sully. Who would be Sully in that?
I feel like there's an actor out there that's basically the living embodiment of Sully, and I just don't know who it is.
I thought at first of J.K. Simmons, but then I thought, no.
I would love an Uncharted movie where Danny DeVito plays all the characters.
I would
Nutty Uncharted.
I would love any movie where Danny DeVito plays.
Yeah.
Imagine Infinity War with Danny DeVito playing all the
as Thanos.
Oh my god.
Oh, the best thing, he comes through the portal
Incredible
like
Hulk.
the fucking chair in It's Always Sunny, where he's naked, coming out the settee.
Oh yeah.
I love the episode of It's Always Sunny where Frank is just stuck in the coil for the entire episode, and they just like meet him, and they're like, "How did you get in there?" And he's in the park, like just trapped in the thing. And they just leave him there for the whole.
You gotta get me out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway,
fucking
Infinity War, 18 movies leading up to one singular movie that they're considering to be the end in a way.
End
Like
of
a
phase
lot.
one,
No, it's end of phase 3.
Phase-
Phase 1 was Avengers,
Oh,
up
yes,
to
yes,
Avengers.
you are right.
Phase 2 is up to Age of Ultron. Phase 3 is up to
This.
Infinity War.
Mm.
So I think, and then they've said, Kevin Feige has promised as well that things are going to happen in this movie and then the sequel that has never been done in a superhero movie before. I think they're going to kill people.
Sex.
Like people
Yeah,
have to die.
They definitely are.
It's gonna be sex.
I think Tony Stark will die,
I think
Yeah.
so as well, yeah.
I think Cap is going to die.
I think
and
Thor.
maybe
Vision
Cap.
too.
Yeah, I'd say
Maybe
Cap
Vision.
will die as well. And then
Vision's not looking so good considering there's an Infinity Stone powering him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, there was rumor that he was going to become Adam Warlock somehow.
Adam Warlock is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 at the end.
Yeah,
after
at the
credits.
end.
Oh, don't spoil it. I just said.
Well, no, it's not. It's
I ain't
not.
seen it yet.
They show at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy where like
Yeah, I ain't seen it yet.
They just
Well,
show his
don't watch
intro.
it.
It's the
Just
end
like-
credit scene. It's the end credit scene. He's not in the movie.
It's
at
one
all.
of 5
So-
end credit scenes. I mean, what kind of fucking film needs 5?
But there's
Soon.
5 end credit scenes in that.
Yeah.
What?
Have you haven't seen Guardians 2, Gary?
No, I have. I just
Yeah.
know
There's
there's
five
five
at the
end
end, yeah.
credits.
There's 5 end
There's
credits.
like
Yeah.
I
two
stayed
pivotal
for one,
story
I
ones.
think. God damn it.
There's 2 really big ones and a couple of joke ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Howard the Duck in it again? Like I was in the end of the...
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Mm. Oh,
no,
he
he's in the film.
I
He's in the
I
film.
saw a great fan theory
He's in
that
the film,
says
yeah.
Howard the Duck has the last Infinity Stone.
Oh.
No. It's 100 million% in Wakanda because it's the Soul Stone, and the whole thing about the Black Panther is that to become the Black Panther, you have to speak with the spirits of Africa and fight some spiritual panther.
But it would be funny if Howard the Duck was
Yeah,
there.
like I'm not saying the theory has a lot of base. I'm just saying there's a theory out there that says Howard the Duck has the
Howard
last
the Duck's
Infinity
there
Stone.
with it. He's just like fucking flipping
Twiddling
it.
in his fingers.
Yeah.
wait, Darren, you said the Soul Stone, but where's the reality?
The Reality Stone has been revealed already.
Where?
It's the ether
Cosmic
from Ether from
Oh yeah,
Thor
yeah,
2.
yes. Yeah, that's true. My bad.
He was
Mr.
going to
What?
use the Ether from Thor 2. The Dark Elves were going to use that to create a new
Yeah.
reality.
I completely forgot about that movie. Just
Power was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the
Yeah.
purple one.
Yeah.
The
The
Space
mind gem is
Stone,
Vision, isn't it?
the Mind Gem is Vision that was in the staff that Loki used to take over people. The Tesseract is the Space Stone.
Yeah.
The Time one is the Eye of Agamotto that Doctor Strange
Doctor
has.
Strange has. Yeah.
That whole scene in Doctor Strange where he's
whoa.
in the.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm sorry, it's been a year.
You haven't seen Doctor Strange?
No, I haven't seen that, and I fell asleep during Ant-Man. There are 17 of these fucking films out there.
I've seen every single one of them in the cinema, except for one of them, and I can't remember which one it was. But I've been
So
pretty
you
good at
haven't
going.
seen
I
every
haven't
single
seen
one
a
of them,
couple in the cinema.
I fell asleep during Thor 2.
I have seen every single
I
one.
also I downloaded
would say
Thor
Thor
2 is the
2
one
is
I
weak.
didn't see. Thor 2 is
I'd
the
say
one
Thor
I
2
didn't see.
That's why I didn't know where the reality stone was, because I was just like, yeah, that was shit.
It's the
It
weakest
was
I'd
still
say out of
better.
the Marvel films.
No, absolutely no way. Iron Man 3, the one in which Iron Man
Fair
doesn't
enough.
save the day, is the
Yes,
worst one.
yes.
I like it.
Fucking Gwyneth Paltrow in a fucking belly top saves the day.
So
It's
what?
garbage. It's garbage. It's so bad. I was so mad after coming out of that movie where he hangs out with a kid for half of it.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end,
So
he's like,
is it a pedo?
and at the end, he's like, I'm not Iron Man anymore. And you're like, what does that mean? And then it cut to Avengers 2, and he's Iron Man, and there's no explanation.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Did he blow up all his suits?
He
and
takes the
suddenly he has
thing
a
out of his
shitload
chest,
suits?
and then suddenly it's back in the next fucking movie.
He realized promptly after you ended that movie that was a terrible idea.
He
And
blows up all his
put
suits
that
and
shit-
goes, I immediately regret that.
I need to put this shit right back in my chest, rebuild those suits.
And a Hulk Buster as well.
And
like,
a
just
Hulk.
in case.
Yeah, he regretted it so much that he just went
He
all
built
out.
one that was double the size of the normal ones.
One he couldn't blow up.
So what I would love to do, what I'd absolutely love to do, and I don't know how we would do it, but to rank all 17 of them so far.
Oh wow!
Well,
I think I
we-
need to
we need to
rewatch
have
them,
a-
honestly.
Yeah, we need to
That makes
rewatch
us-
them and have a list.
Yeah.
We could
So what I would love to do
review
is-
one each week.
Oh shit, that's a good idea.
Ooh,
That's
I don't
good.
know.
How many weeks?
In-
How many weeks?
Chronological.
How many weeks before Infinity War?
Well, the objective is obviously what, 18 or 17 rather, but
I think that corresponds because Infinity War is out. I think
May.
that'd be
Yeah.
funny actually. Yeah, that'd be
It's
good.
May next year. So we should have time.
okay.
So
So,
do you want to do that? You want to review one
I'm
each
down.
week?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no, that sounds fun.
it is 153 days effectively, 152, 11 hours. So someone convert that to weeks because
21.
21
Oh,
weeks.
look at that!
Yeah.
And there's
21.8, so 22, I guess.
so we'll lose a week because of this.
Yeah.
That then puts it to 20.
So we need to be on the
Yeah,
ball with this. Like,
Yeah,
we can't
yeah,
miss,
we
we
gotta
can't
get
miss more
going.
than 4 podcasts, guys.
Are we going to do
I
it
like,
in order?
I like how excited we've got. Oh, have to do it in chronological order of release.
of course.
Yeah.
Iron
Release,
Man,
yeah.
the Hulk, Thor, Captain America.
Well, we don't need to.
Iron Man
really-
2.
I'm looking at the timeline now. Oh, this is timeline as in actual timeline, as in the first thing in it is Odin wrecking them frost
Oh, no,
giants.
I've got it here. I've got it here. So it's Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America,
Wow,
Marvel,
Iron Man
The
2 is out
Avengers.
that soon.
That's phase 1. Then phase 2, you've got Iron Man 3, you've got Thor 2, The Dark World, Captain America, The Winter Soldier,
So
Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers,
So
Age of
good.
Ultron, Ant-Man. That's phase 2. Phase 3
Ant-Man's phase 3.
says it's phase 2 on here.
Really?
Wrong.
Wow.
Phase
Okay.
3 started with Civil War.
No, phase 3 definitely started with Ant-Man. I'm sorry, they're wrong. I'm right.
I think you should get on Wikipedia and correct this immediately.
Okay, I will.
So phase 3 in Darren's world is Ant-Man, Captain America, Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Thor Ragnarok. And then
and Black Panther.
so sorry, that's from current releases. Then you've got Black Panther coming out next year, Avengers Infinity War coming out next year, Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out next year. Fuck. They're making so
gonna
much
be-
money.
It's going to be.
Is
weird
Ant-Man
seeing
and the
it
Wasp
kind of-
out before part 2 of Infinity War?
No, it's out afterwards.
Oh, okay, that wouldn't make much sense if they're like, meanwhile, and it's just Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's like
He just
Thor
buggers off
doing
halfway
nothing
through the
while
time.
the entire world's just
So at
fucking
least we-
blowing up.
At least
Has
now
everyone
Ant-Man survives.
everyone read the Infinity War comic?
No.
Yep.
Do you know how it what happens?
No.
Yep.
Okay, because I was going to talk about it, but it might actually spoil the movie.
Okay,
I don't think they'll
I haven't read
replicate
the
it.
comic, but I know how it ends.
I don't think they'll replicate it.
has everyone seen the new Thor movie?
Nope.
Oh
No.
my god, Thor Ragnarok is probably my favorite movie of the entire
great,
Marvel
yeah.
franchise. It is fucking phenomenal. It's hilarious. I haven't laughed out loud that much in a cinema since.
It's got a more Guardians to the Galaxy vibe to
Yeah,
it
it
than
does.
previous
That's
films.
They
Taika's.
took that formula. I actually only saw it yesterday. What I was going to say though is there's a storyline called, which I actually wanted to see,
Called what?
World War Hulk.
Oh, I've read that. I have it here in the house. If you want
Yeah,
to
I've
do
read
that,
that as well.
It's very good, and but I'm going to say no
you
more.
need to read. You need to read Planet Hulk first because it's
Yeah.
World War
Planet
Hulk.
Yeah, I was going to say there's one that's kind of before that, isn't there? Yeah.
I just want to say in Thor Ragnarok, Jeff Goldblum plays the Grand Master in it.
Mhm.
But I kind of feel watching it that no one gave Jeff Goldblum a script or he refused to read it. And he just shows up on set and just plays Jeff Goldblum. And there's one moment in the movie where he's talking and it just stops mid-sentence and just walks away. And it just continues on and you're like, this is incredible.
I could just let him do it. It's like, yeah. Just let
And they're like, just let Jeff Goldblum. It's time to act. And he's like, okay, I'm Jeff Goldblum. Let's go. And he just does his thing, and it's just so good.
Jeff Goldblum.
It's so good.
So
I've got the
films.
makeup until he says stop.
I've got the films in order of best to worst as well.
No. Don't show the list.
We're doing our own.
Don't show the
Yeah,
list
yeah.
because it could.
No,
It could.
interestingly
influence.
enough, Iron Man 2 is rated lower than Iron Man 3.
I agree.
I actually think that they're both so bad that once you go down far enough into the dark depths of shit, I don't think there's any kind of concept of order down there.
Hashtag Batman v Superman.
I think they are. No, I think they're worse than Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. I hated those
I
movies.
mean, at least the fights were good in Batman versus Superman. No, I mean, some of them.
Except for the part where they say their mother's name and then they make friends.
I just couldn't. Speeding bullet got hit by 2 grenades.
Can I just say they've made the total box office worldwide $13.5 billion. So next time Logue says, "I don't know why they're making Infinity War and paying all these actors," we can just say
God.
so. They've got $13.5 billion.
I'm a bit worried about Marvel's financial situation, lads. go on, look, continue.
Yeah, and bear in mind, this is just the box office.
I mean,
DVDs, downloads.
Robert Downey
trying-
Jr.
merchandise.
gets what, 10 million a movie?
No. So in this new one, he's negotiated because of a little bet in Iron Man or Iron Man 2 or
It's like
something like that.
200 million.
He gets $200 million for Infinity
Yeah.
War.
What?
But that's
mental.
that's
The
still
next
nothing
biggest-
compared to what the
A few
movie's going to
billion.
make.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Like-
yeah, it'll make over $1 billion, maybe 1.5. But the next highest paid actor from there is Scarlett Johansson. She gets nearly 30 million or 40 million, and then everybody else is below 10 million. I think there's maybe one more above that, but everyone else is below.
So Robert
10
Downey
million or
Jr.
$1 million.
made a bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some ridiculous bet. They're saying, I bet these films will make over $1 billion. Somebody said, no, they'll never make over $1 billion. A film made over $1 billion. And he said, if it makes over $1 billion, I want 200 million of my last films or this film, the film set after. And they said, yeah, fine. And $200 million later.
That was a really stupid person that said, "Yeah, fine."
Yeah.
He's sacked.
No, think about it. Think about
Oh, I
it.
know you said that, but they still made $13.5 billion.
Yeah, no, yeah, but just as straight up, they're like, "Oh, we'll never get that." Come,
But it's easy to forget that we live in a world where superhero movies are connected in one universe. Like
Can
we
I
had
just say-
Spider-Man
And good. And
Can I
good.
just say
and good.
that $200 million is the same budget for Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 and more than Thor: The Dark World, more than The Winter Soldier.
Oh my god.
More than Ant-Man, obviously. More than Doctor Strange. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, same budget. He's getting paid more than the average budget of a Marvel film.
Wow.
That's how ridiculous that is.
Good for him. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Carl's like, I wish him all the best in all his future endeavors.
How could it fall and break his legs?
I would literally run out of shoes to buy.
You just couldn't
I would-
spend it. Couldn't spend all that. $200 million.
It's kind of
I
hard
would
to imagine, isn't it?
I would buy so many chocolate bars.
I buy at least
so
7.
many chocolate bars.
7.
Freddos.
So many Freddo bars, yeah.
You just go to the counter with 7 Freddos, and she looks at you like you're a fucking maniac. Like, what? 7 Freddos? You must
It's
have
like,
200
oh, I've just
million
made
dollars.
200 million quid. Don't worry.
Yeah, she goes like, I'll buy so many chocolate bars. He goes into the nearest shop and there's like 7 Freddos, and he's like, I'm gonna buy 7 Freddos.
This many chocolate bars.
And a
That
bag
was
of
the day we knew Shakozy had gone insane.
We're not sponsored by Freddo, by the way. Although Freddo, if you're listening,
Freddo.
There are 7
I
of
love
us
the
right
way.
now.
I love
You
the
mean
way.
Cadbury, right? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a building somewhere with just Freddo on the front, and all they do
It's
is
like,
make
guys.
Freddos.
guys, does Ben know? Should we tell him? Okay, so anyway, let's do that. Every week we'll watch and review a movie, and at the end of watching all 17, what we will each do, because we're not in the same room, we will each, I don't know, print out or type or write out the movies and then reorder them and we rank them. And what we'll do is everyone's number 1 will get 17 points. Everyone's number 2 will get 16 points. We'll add up all the points and we'll then have the official Mountains of Madness ranking of the Marvel movies.
And then by that point, Infinity War will be out either that week
Well,
or the week after.
Black Panther should be out at that time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Which we
And
can
then Infinity War will be out.
Let's stick on the list and then do a revised list, and then it should be Infinity War.
What a
sounds
good
like a
idea
plan.
this has
Yeah.
been.
So then, just to round this out and finish up for this podcast, in the vein of superheroes, I would like us. I think this is good because there's a good group of us. I would like us to decide what everyone except ourselves superheroes would be based off their personality.
Oh, that's good.
What superpowers would we have? Did I say superpowers or superheroes?
You said superheroes.
I meant decide what superpowers everyone
Okay.
would have.
Okay.
So, like, if we're choosing what Killian's superpower is, he can't have a say in it. I know what his power would be already.
Carl just
Um,
talks people.
I know what
killing
Carl's would
themselves.
be.
I know what Kale's will be as well.
And then if it's not too difficult, also come up with our superhero names, and we'd be the Mountains of Madness superhero team.
I like that.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So who do we start with?
I should start with Killian.
Okay, because apparently I was a good example. Is it sleeping? I feel like it's sleeping.
Yes.
Yes.
King
It
Nap.
is.
I already have your name, King Nap.
So
Special move, the power nap.
so
Power nap. Yes.
Killian has a couple of really defining traits, I think. One of them is the fact that he will sleep at every single party he goes to.
He slept at my stag do. Do you remember that? In Leeds, he went off into the corner to have a nap.
No, I wasn't asleep. I was angry. There's a difference.
Angry.
And he was angry because someone touched my beard and he wanted to fight them. It was a weird thing. And you were whipping some guy outside the bar as well, Ben. That was a weird experience.
No. I was getting whipped.
Oh, you were getting whipped. I thought you were
getting whipped
as well.
Two
Sorry,
police
that makes things
officers
so
were
much
walking
better.
down the street. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was
There's just
weird.
Beetlejuice there with a whip in his hand.
But we were just like, they're gonna kick us out of this nightclub if we start whipping each other. And then we asked the security guard, and they were like, "No, do whatever you want." And we were like, "Okay, cool."
So then
Anyway.
when I wanted to go, 2 coppers turned up, so I didn't get to whip anybody. My ass was split into 3. I looked like the total recall of ass.
So Killian falls asleep an awful lot, but he also does this really annoying thing where you're like, "Hey, Killian, let's play a game." Or let's do something, and then he's better than you at it. Kind of like Gary. These two fuckers just get better at things than me.
Or one of those occasions where Killian's not on point and he rage quits and goes plays a game that he knows he's good at.
So I think for
I gotta play some Rocket
I think
League.
for
Fuck this
Killian
game.
is that Killian can steal other people's superpowers, but when he steals too many, he falls asleep and loses them.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Wait, hang on. Isn't that basically like Peter Petrelli from Heroes?
I mean,
Yeah, apart from with the sleep.
I mean, no matter what superpower we pick for anybody,
It's
it's going
probably
to be
half the
another
film, yeah.
superhero. Like, and
Yeah,
also
it does
Peter
depend,
Botticelli doesn't
like-
fall asleep. If anything, he's more like Rogue, but she falls asleep.
With his flowing locks. Yeah, I think Rogue.
I like it. That was
Flowing
well
locks and
done.
tight pants.
So is that good?
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I think
that's
that's good, yeah.
fantastic.
That's
Okay,
perfect.
Carl.
Have you,
Carl-
have you guys seen that Disney movie Inside or whatever it's called?
Yes, you would. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I know where you're
like
going.
that
The
little
Rage.
angry red man. Yeah, Rage. Yeah, that's
Carl's
Carl.
power is rage. He's the Punisher.
Like
but-
in what's it?
Carl's the Punisher. He's got no powers. He just
He
murders.
just
really
goes
mad.
killing
Like-
people. Like,
Mystery Men. Do you see Mystery Men? Do you ever see
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
look like that.
Just start jumping on cars.
I actually was
No,
convinced everyone would tell me that I was the rage-powered one. I was expecting to be like the Hulk because I'm an angry guy as well.
You would be Icarus with infinite shoes. Infinite trainers.
No,
with
what
speed.
I'd like to
superpower.
do is, I'd like to just. I'm always having dreams where I'm just making people's heads explode and shit. Do you like fucking psychic powers flying around? Like, who the fuck are you looking at, cunt? Boom.
That's perfect. Carl's is anger-based head explosion, where if he gets angry, he'll make people's heads explode. But
Okay,
it's
so
like the limitation is that he knows when he gets angry, someone's head's gonna explode, so he needs to like quickly focus his powers, or everyone's heads will explode.
Oh,
Carl
okay.
so Carl sounds a bit like Rubber.
Oh.
Has anyone not seen that movie? Rubber with the tire that makes people like.
Oh yeah, I have.
No?
Yeah.
Never mind.
I don't
never
think
mind.
so.
It's a movie about a tire that rolls around the place, making heads explode.
Oh, I've seen the trailer for it. Never actually watched it.
I watched it. Hannah showed it to me.
Okay.
The trailer.
Okay. So next.
Okay, let's do Shakozy, considering he wants to be next.
No, I didn't say I want to be next.
You want the power to have all powers?
what's that guy from Static Shock that goes into the shadows?
Fuck's sake.
What does he do?
He can like move around in shadows and shit, and comes out and like forms thing with shadows.
For fuck's sake.
I
Gillian.
feel like this is racially charged, but okay.
God damn it.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Trust me, I know a black guy.
I have one black friend, therefore I can be racist.
It's not a permission slip. Clearly.
No, I have those. He gave those to
Gillian
me too,
is
though.
the-
Maybe
Everybody
that
gets
is
one. Everybody
maybe that is
gets one.
Chakozy's superpower. He is permission slip man, and he allows racism to be acceptable for a
in
very
all-
short period of time.
In all fairness, before I met Keel, he was like, he was a pretty nice guy, and then 2 months in, he's just a racist fuck now.
I don't know. I
Raging
think
racist.
the Shakozy's most defining trait is how unreliable he is. And
Yeah, I was.
literally
That was
everything.
point.
It's like I'm going to move in with Gary. No, I'm not. I'm going to be here at this time for the raid. Sorry, already did it. I'm going to be at the podcast. No, I'm not.
Unreliability, man.
So
Yeah.
so is he Captain Hindsight? Is
So no,
you
I
already
think
know what you kinda want
he's
in
more
hindsight.
like the propulsion drive from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Scarlet Witch's powers are technically that the more probable something is to happen, the more likely she can make it happen. Like her powers are based on probability. So she can make very unlikely things happen to extraordinary feats. Maybe Shakozy's is like the opposite.
Yeah, I
Maybe
was gonna
he's
say, it's just the
unprobability
opposite.
man.
Yeah.
So the more
Sorry.
probable something is, the less likely he can do it.
He can
so it's
do
like
it, yeah.
he finds
The less-
walking and sleeping very difficult, but he can like teleport randomly and
is
shit.
his power Murphy's law, but like the opposite?
The opposite, yeah. Shakozy's law.
Whatever won't
his
happen
name.
will happen.
Chakozy Murphy. Whatever could happen won't happen.
So he's called. Oh, here's a great name for him. He's a lawman, or the lawman, and it's like, oh, he's like a police officer. It's like, no, it's Murphy's law, but the inverse.
With inverse Murphy's Law,
Inverted.
man.
And
you know
he's the
what?
man.
Let's just
Oh,
go
he
with
could be
law,
he
man.
could be 1 over Murphy because he's like the inverse of Murphy's law.
Murphy to the -1. No, doesn't sound good.
Minus one Murphy. Minus one Murphy.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
Murphy backwards.
Minus Murphy.
Or back-
You got the
backwards Murphy.
alliteration.
Backwards
Minus
Murphy
man.
sound a bit retarded.
The inverse.
Oh my
of
God.
how-
Negative N-word.
What?
Christ.
I think
No,
this is going a
that's
bit more
no-go.
racist than my one.
Yeah, you're
I
Ivan
didn't
Evans,
say
by
it.
the way, which is better known as Ebon, as in I get it anyway. I get it. Slight racially charged, but anyway,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah.
So who's next?
I'll volunteer myself.
Go on, Darren.
I think Darren's like a cross between the Human Torch and the Hulk.
The
Oh, I like
Human
that.
Hulk.
The,
I was gonna go
the
with-
Human Hulk.
The Incredible Torch.
Apart from
Incredible
the
Human.
angrier he gets, the ginger he gets. That's the only difference. But
And
like
the
The
more
ginger
flavors.
is-
Flames.
with the ginger ones. So you ever play God of War 1 where you fight Ares and he's got the beard of flames?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. That's,
Just throwing it out there.
just saying, that's a good suggestion.
Or like Hades from Hercules, the film.
Yeah,
Just a film.
combine both of those with the flaming hair on the top and on the beard. That's my superpower. I just get a
So-
flaming
so
hair.
Hang on. We can't
Yours-
just let him pick a superpower because then he'd just be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine.
I'm basically.
I would say
Easy.
Darren's is intellectual condescension to all others around him. Like he knows his superior, and when he feels like it, he just rubs their face in it a little bit.
That's unfair. I
he's
give
like-
everyone else powers that let them kill people or fight crime or evil.
no.
and
So
Okay.
you
I
rub your
just
face in it
condescend to people.
I got another
till
one.
they die.
Suffocate them in their own inferiority.
Condescended to death, Christ.
You rub their face in it literally, like really hard, and their face just
Perfect example
goes
is
away.
you've beaten Logue down to a pulp so far, even though you invited him to the. So you are false sense of security, man. You lull them in, and then you just destroy them with their inferiority. That's who
It's
you are,
beautiful.
Darren. Inferiority, man.
So if we were a
You are-
superhero team,
inferiority complex, man.
think
so if we
this
were a
podcast
superhero
is
team, then would
considered
I be just like the guy? Would I just be the guy sitting at the computer screen telling you where to go? But like you ask me, it's like Darren, where's the enemy? And I'm like, oh yeah, of course you want my help.
Yeah, like none of this would be possible without me.
Yeah.
I'm the only person right now.
I'm
who
like
can-
the Nick Fury / Barbara Gordon, like, without the crippledness.
No, you're the boss from Team America.
I actually
I
don't
can't
remember.
remember his name,
What,
but you
so
slide
it is?
around in your chair a lot like that.
Yes, it is. Now suck my dick.
What's his name? Is
Wait,
it
can I
Woodcock?
just add to Carl's power that he can projectile vomit like in Team America whenever he wants?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
why not?
Exorcist.
Whenever he's disgusted by something enough.
I got it. Everyone will be
Instavom.
flooded.
Instavom. That's a new social media site right there. Instavom.
Instavom.
What makes you gag?
Yeah.
9gag.
Oh,
So
God.
seriously, that's my power. I have no power.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh, guys, this is my idea, and I feel like you've just
You
shit
just
on me.
short sticked him completely. Like
For once, you get the short straw. You are the inferior one. There you go.
Batman has no powers. Apart from
But
being
he's
super
rich.
rich.
Yeah,
And
no,
he's
his
just
powers
smart.
is money.
But he's
Yeah,
lame.
then-
I have
Say
the power of
Batman's
money,
name.
and money rules the world.
What if I did?
Plus, I have a car.
I'll fight you IRL.
What other superheroes have cars?
Okay, Ben's
Faster
power.
than everyone.
Ben's power. He's a fucking cunt.
I
That's
win.
it. Cunt, man.
He has the ability to transform into a giant.
His face opens sideways, and it's just a big fucking vagina, and he just eats people with it.
So
When
he's
I
like
yawn-
a Demogorgon.
When I
only
yawn, I queef
vagina.
backwards.
I actually had a really good one for Ben, but he's lowballed me so hard that I actually don't want to say it.
No, go on, you have to now, but we can say it's not me.
Because you're an actor, you can like do like the faceless men thing and wear faces and be like master of disguise and perfectly mimic someone else's behavior.
I like that one.
That's pretty bitchin', yeah.
But his like natural face is a vagina.
Of course.
Okay, yes, that's perfect.
Oh god, that's really good. Fuck you, Squizzy. That's really good. Get back in those fucking shadows.
Gary's got no powers, but he has a bow like Hawkeye.
That's it. I'm just there, just chilling with everybody. I'm with the boys. Everybody's
He's
doing
got a
work.
bow. You got a bow. And
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like-
and I can like shoot it at people.
But,
Yeah,
but no,
until
no
your-
arrows.
until your arrows run out. And then
I
Yeah.
think-
arrows. You
I
give
think
him a
you should
bow
have
but
a-
no arrows.
I think you should have a sandbag gun.
You just get less screen time than anybody, so it always looks like you're doing work, but really half the time you're just running around collecting arrows.
Trying to catch up.
It's like gaming. It's like, oh guys, I'm doing so much work. Cut to my screen. I'm just looting everything and like, running around stealing everybody's shit. Like, come on, I'm doing so much, guys.
Yeah,
Look at all the stuff I have.
Thanos is dead, and you're just taking his gloves off. Like,
Yeah,
I'll have
just
this.
Trying to take out one of the Infinity Stones. Oh, come on, I know I can get it.
No, actually, no. I feel like out of all my friends, Gary's the guy who can like do shit. Like Gary's like, I'm like, oh, my sink is broken, and Gary's like, I'll fix your sink. And then I'm just like, oh, like I need to go somewhere, and Gary's like, oh, I can drive you. And I'm like, oh, like how does this thing work? And Gary's
does
like,
sound like
I know
Gary's a
how
PA.
these things work. in those examples, yeah. But then Gary's just like, oh yeah, I'm also like just casually a black belt and can like kill somebody, and I'm also just casually really good at archery, and I'm also just casually really good at juggling, and I'm also casually just really good at all these other things.
Is my name
like,
Casual?
Can anyone else feel the condescension here in Darren's?
Fuck you!
His
I'm
superpower's already
complimenting
coming.
him. I'm complimenting him.
Look at all these things he's good at. Look at all these things he can do, but he still doesn't get a superpower.
I love the way he says it like casually. He didn't just say, "Oh, Gary's good at these things." He's like, "Oh, casually."
I mean, Gary makes it look casual because he's so talented.
Like gaming, such a
like
casual,
gaming,
filthy casual. Yeah, that's your superhero name.
So I think
Filthy casual.
So I think for picking a superpower for Gary would be like linked to the fact that he's like really good at doing shit, but not annoying like Killian. Killian's like, oh, I'm really good at this. Gary's
Gary
like,
Batman?
holy shit, I'm good at this.
Is Gary a poor Batman?
Wait, what?
Poor Batman.
Why am I annoying?
But it's like, let's play pool, and Killian's like, I'll warn you, Darren, I'm annoyingly good at pool.
I said I was shite.
No, you didn't.
Game.
You didn't. No, you didn't. And you did. I lost the first game against you. But you were like, I'll warn you, I can be stupidly lucky at pool. And then you play a game with me where you were like, hit a ball that hits a ball that hits a ball that puts a ball in. And you're like, I've no idea what I'm doing. And I still beat me. And I'm like, fuck you, Killian.
You are Mr. Lucky
Agreed,
Man.
Darren. Agreed.
So that's why you're stealing other people's powers, because you make me worse. That was the example I was going off. It's a good thing. It's just frustrating.
But because of Darren's
you're
superpower, it makes it sound like you're inferior to him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Am I a terrible person?
It's a very complex situation.
Don't worry.
We're all I was trying to... What?
We're all terrible people.
I was trying to compliment all of you guys with your powers. And then it's just like, and Darren's a terrible person.
Well, okay, Darren, if you look at it like, from another point of view, we said that you rub everyone's faces in like the fact that you're high intellect. So like you were saying in an indirect way that you're smarter than most people. So like you're douchebaggy Ozymandias.
Your superpower is you're above average intelligence.
It gets you a long way.
Everybody of it all the time.
It always annoyed me in like comics and stuff where you'd be like reading about like different superheroes and they're all just genius level in intellect. Like Reed Richards and Tony Stark and the Submariner and Peter Parker, and everyone's a genius level intellect like all the time.
Except Hawkeye.
Yeah, settle down, my two kids.
Hawkeye is a lot cooler in the comics than he is in the movies. Honestly, he was one of my favorite Avengers in the comics, and I just think because he didn't give him a costume, I don't care about him as much.
I mean, he kind of has a costume, right?
Yes, he doesn't. He's just like
he wears sleeveless
nondescript black sleeveless things. Yeah. Have you seen him in the comics? It's like purple and blue.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and shit.
And he's got the mask and the chainmail or scales or whatever he's got.
Yeah, it's fucking dope.
It was meant to be like a super Robin Hood or something.
Yeah.
So I think, Gary's power should be related to the fact that he can do things.
We'll just call him Handyman.
Oh, God.
Handyman.
God, no, that's awful. But yeah, that's my like contribution. I feel like I've just led this, so someone else chime in.
I always thought Gary was the snail from SpongeBob, and you were SpongeBob, Darren.
Nice.
Like when
that's my superpower, is it being a snail?
Before I ever spoke to or heard Gary, there was only Darren addressing Gary, and I always thought he was addressing his pet snail from SpongeBob. Yeah. So it was nice to know Gary had a voice.
Yeah.
You could still be a fucking snail for all I know. I'm not.
Put that on a t-shirt. It could be a fucking snail for all I know.
Everyone's a snail on the internet.
So I think we covered the superhero bit then.
I feel like Darren's also just waiting for another input on his part.
No, we haven't picked Gary's superpower yet. I
thought we did.
I listed straight, so everyone went, "Oh, so he's like your PA, Darren," and then talked about how much of an asshole I am a bit more. That's it. What would Darren Logue's power be?
Oh my god!
Like
he would
scout leader or something.
He would be. What's the superhero with the high pitched squeal that deafens? that would be Darren Logue.
Banshee.
Banshee. Yeah.
Because he constantly breaks our mics when he gets excited about things. Not our mics, our ears.
Do you remember Global Gladiators, the McDonald's-based game on the Mega Drive?
No one remembers that.
No one remembers that, Carl. That didn't even register as a game in my head.
Mick and Mac, that's it, Mick and Mac. Oh, he's one of them. Like a Sonic-powered gun.
What?
It's a Sonic-powered
so
gun.
Confused. What?
No, like a fucking Sonic noise gun.
I think we've gone in with
what would Cathal's power be?
Toxicity.
He poisons things. He poisons things. Also, I feel like he could be Cyclops from X-Men because he wears glasses.
Oh yeah.
He takes off his glasses and then he just toxifies things around him. Like things just start to die and like rot and like melt.
Raw sludge just starts to pour out of his eyes.
He is literally the toxic
raw
Avenger,
sludge.
Yeah, he's a toxic Avenger. There you go.
with his fucking mopping up his toxic mess afterwards.
I'm just a mean person. That's my powers. Okay.
And I don't have any. That's feels bad.
I feel like if we really put our heads together, we could make a new Mystery Men.
I think Gary, your power is like you have seizures as well. That's one of your things. So
oh yeah,
seizure
the best superpower.
I was about to say something, but I was like,
short amount of time, immobilized.
I feel like when Gary starts doing something, he continues to get better and 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 gets really good at it, and then he has a seizure and it resets, which is kind of like Killian's power. But there you go.
He also has the ability to escape any situation.
So like if Gary starts fighting somebody, right? As he starts fighting somebody, he's black belt and he's doing well. But the longer he fights, the better he gets and the stronger and faster he gets. And he gets really good and then like has a seizure.
So it's kind of like Juggernaut from the X-Men, but like, you know, if he runs too fast.
If Gary were to start running,
falls over.
If Gary were to start running, he'd get faster and more efficient at running and better and better and better. Yeah, that's just, there you go. There's a power for you, Gary.
Okay, I'll take it.
You're the accelerator.
The accelerator until I don't accelerate anymore. Then
until you have a seizure.
Oh god, this has been fun.
Carl, fucking Killian, that thing you posted. Sorry, I just seen it.
Now that you've mentioned it, Gary, you have to describe it to the people that can't see it.
Yes, okay. So
don't describe it too well.
It's a Cyanide and Happiness comic too.
Oh, that's what he meant by don't describe it too well. We're not sponsored by Cyanide and Happiness.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, I thought we were. I thought that came through
is,
last week. Okay, my bad.
If he describes it too well, he might just drop into a seizure before the last frame. I don't want that to happen.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. But yeah.
So somebody help me. Somebody please send help. Have no fear, citizen. Seizure Man is here. And then he has a seizure and gets carried away by two people. And the dude
leaving
is
the guy
there.
Leaving the guy there. Okay. Well done.
So he's evidently exceeded expectations in getting to that guy super fast.
Has a seizure beside him.
And then has a seizure beside him.
So does he just not have seizures during his normal like daytime? But because he's Seizure Man, that's how he helps people, by having seizures.
He can't have seizures in his normal life because that would reveal his identity.
So it's like, I'm gonna have a seizure, and he like quickly pulls out his costume and like spazzes out in the ground.
Quickly runs to a phone box, yeah. Gets changed.
Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to the 7th episode of the Mountains of Madness podcast. We love you and appreciate you. Like and subscribe and comment on what your superpower would be. And what superpower you would give me, given that I don't have one because my friends suck. Thanks and love
There's
you.
that condescension coming in again.
I'll condescend all over your face. This is the part, guys. This is the part now where we do a slow pan and we all wave at the camera and say bye. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye.
I didn't
Cozy, say
anything.
bye.
I just waved.
1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, it's beautiful. Well done. Woo.